remember that they're changing my voice. Last night they did something to my throat. It kind of had a popping feelings to it, sensation, and I could tell that it was very sore. And they've been fuming my throat for a long time. And I'm told that this is something that they use technology to do, as it's pretty obvious that they did, mind you, and that it was deliberate. Like, it wasn't just a side effect; it was a direct result, right? It was part of their plan. And so they want to change the sound of my voice as they see fit, right? Because the governing class is a bunch of lunatics, right? It's not just one of them. Everyone allowed to have money, okay, without exception, is either clearly a lunatic or clearly slack in their work, right? Proverbs 18:9. And when we look at the wordplay of limit, right, they try to make it seem like certain people are superior, right? The L word, a derogatory term for English people, right? The first part of the word lime, then the second part of the word E. Okay, it's designed, America's part of the Anglosphere, speak English, right? It's designed to kind of try to make them seem superior. And so that really brings a lot of dirt and darkness on their souls. As when something like that occurs, you have to scramble to separate yourself from guilt, to free yourself from the privilege, the ill-gotten gains, what have you. And everyone knows that, When you look at it as you're just some kind of regular person saying, why should I? I mean, that's a brute, that's an idiot, that's a simpleton, that's just a hell-bound worm, what have you. When you actually have class, right, morals, sense, you separate yourself from ill-gotten gains. You have nothing to do with it. I mean, I'm sure many of you, especially you're my age, you're in your 40s, you've heard the phrase, right, I'll have nothing to do with that, or I want no part of it, right? I want no part of it. That includes the ill-gotten gains, right? So you see on the screen it says the sabotaged top martial artist is ideal, or something to that effect. Back in like 2021 or 2022, I put that on my old car, which I stopped driving at the end of 2025. So it's been there 3 or 4 years, maybe even 5 years. I don't remember when I put it on the car. Maybe even closer to 6 years. So right now, I'm being fumed here. I was by a hospital, I'm parked by a hospital called Basha. In fact, I'm across the street at the McDonald's on Woodward. Bash A, and it says something about MRIs, brain scans. And they've been zapping my brain consistently. We see a lot of street names out here that give away their mentality, whether it was intended for me to kind of come here, I have family in Michigan, what have you, that they anticipated this whenever they made the signs. Who knows? Maybe even over 100 years. I don't know the history of this area. Or it's just kind of the general formula, their clan formula. The clan used to have a strong presence here in Michigan, right? And so if you see streets called Burnham or Woodward, it's because of a bunch of white supremacists who stay away from the white girls, right? I'm mulatto, who don't like people like me. And, obviously I'm not going to conform. People, when you bring up stuff like this, often say, well, put us above you and we'll help you and all this stupid childish. Like, I'm a grown man, right? I'm from the top martial arts line. So when I see people are mere craftsmen, they're nerds, they're in Greek societies, maybe they're gay, maybe they're, a geek, maybe they're in a frat, okay? We're not the same kind of species, we're not cut from the same cloth. I'm not trying to insult anyone, I'm trying to help people understand what's going on here. Okay, someone like me fights to the death on the drop of a hat for what's right, period. It's not a terrorist, not crazy. But see, if the Klan came for me right now, I wouldn't hesitate to pop out on them and start letting them have it, okay? I don't have any illegal weapons, what have you, but whatever, right? So I'm not moved in the slightest. I'm not trying to find my life. I consider that despicable. If I had a son and he had 5 children, okay, I expect him to be ready to die for God on the drop of a hat, even if his children can be taken away as a result. Okay, I'm not with the bitch shit. I am not with the bitch shit. I'm not with the coward stuff. I'm not with the conformity. Okay, the continuity of conformity right? And the fake consent. Not cut from that cloth. Not one of the children of the devil, some follower of Zalmexis or Kubaba or, Kyle or Cibele and all this, you look at the statues, right? They're obviously people who are inbred. They have developmental disorders, and they were very mediocre people, and they made statues of themselves. Again, I'm not trying to insult anybody. But, my religion is not insult people to feel good. It's universal, pinpoint, and moral precision. And so as I analyze the history of it, as I look at the documentaries, the evidence, the peer-reviewed research, I compare things, I read between the lines, it's very clear to me, very clear, that a bunch of weirdos and a bunch of guys who try to seem all professional and, try to dress better than everyone else, trying to seem more handsome than everyone, have teamed up. Right? A bunch of, knuckleheads in the military, some of them are generals. They're teamed up, right, in their little secret societies to kind of control females and exert sexual control. And many, many, many of them are LGBT people, child molesters, what have you. And I refuse to just blame the LGBT community. Not everyone on this planet with money is gay. Okay? Just in. Not everyone on this planet with money is Jewish. Not everyone on this planet with money is just white by itself. So you have to tell the truth about these things. There's token minorities helping them. Okay? And so especially when, for all I know, I could get lung cancer from what they're doing. For all I know, I could die right now. Okay? On top of everything else. So I'm going to tell the truth, and I could die at any time. And it's been like that. I live like every day knowing that. And when I look around, I see people's lives are far inferior to mine. Just unbelievable. Just worms. I thank God Almighty that I'm not anybody else that I've come across. My parents are blameless, but I don't want to be them either. We'll just keep it simple. We'll say anyone who's not my parents or my brothers, to keep it simple. I have respect for my parents. Okay, my little brother, somebody said about my older brother's a pretty unreasonable guy. I thank God I'm not anyone else. Because their lives are not worth living. And they don't have the brain capacity, the brain kind of quality to put that together. There's some kind of worm just following the state, okay, just kissing the state's ass, okay, handing their kids over to get raped. Hey, the top martial artist, the sabotage for not being a punk, for not being a bitch, top martial artist ever possible, is ideal. Who would have thought? Can you imagine an attractive female on this planet who has average intelligence or better, okay, who could possibly say otherwise? What was she going to say? Some rich bitch who exploited everyone as ideal? No. Some mere politician? Please. Some accepted by the devil church staff person? No, that's stupid. Imagine being that dumb. That's your daughter and she actually thinks I slap her across the fucking face. For goodness sake. There's no excuse for that fucking pathetic way of thinking. Unless she's a retard or something. Because the sheer stupidity is unbearable. And there comes a time when a woman deserves, or not a woman, because that's not a woman, a female deserves to get slapped across her fucking face. Now, I'm not some wife beat, I'm not Ike Turner. I don't promote violence against women. But the thought that someone is so evil, so callous-hearted, so fucking stupid, that they don't know that the top martial arts ever possible is ideal? They think fucking Adam Sandler is or something, Carlton Urkel? The thought that they don't understand that is fucking dumb. If they don't know that it's someone of a black person, patriarchal line, slap them across the other fucking cheek too. Fuck's wrong with them? That's fucking pathetic. How can anyone be so dumb? You have it spilled out for you. Think black people became good at, sports from fucking playing basketball? Basketball wasn't always there. What do you think the Black Panther movie's about? What the fuck don't you get? But every day I see stupid lemming sons of bitches and daughters of bitches who don't understand these things. Some kind of fair weather fucking slut. They think life is about being a fair weather slut and trying to survive. How fucking touching. Trying to survive in the spirit of a pedophile. And they're fucking allies. They're butt boys. That's fucking pathetic. Okay, so this is about 3 minutes later. I'm calm. If somebody had come while I was making the video, I would have calmed down right away. Okay, unless they provoked me or something, unless they, attacked me or smacked my car for no reason, then I probably would be mad, right? But I think straight either way. So it's important to note these things, right? I'm not threatening anybody, okay? I know I talk in a way that might be a little bit alarming, maybe if you're in law enforcement or something, so I thought I'd reassure everybody that, I'm not some kind of moody person. I do not have mood swings. I express anger a lot, okay? I think people do deserve to get flogged for certain crimes and thrown in prison in a very harsh way if they know for sure they're guilty of those crimes. But I don't go around doing some crazy vigilante stuff, okay? And my stance on that type of stuff should be clear if you're watching my videos. I have a playlist about my martial art code, which talks about things like when to be violent and so on and so forth. Um, though I didn't go that much into detail in that paper about when to be violent, but it's kind of implicit, okay? That, you don't just get angry and hurt somebody. You don't see some of the news and just flip out and so on and so forth. And, you know, if you feel like hitting a female because of this video, you should check with me first. Okay, I like to make dramatic examples to get my point across. I don't think it's cool for somebody to hit women, but I do think that females shunning me is such an outrageous thing, and people were stoned for far less than that, and so I feel the need to express it a certain way.